Welcome back, everyone. Ahead of the 2027 general election, all eyes are on the Northeast as stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress in Gombe State endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima for re-election. However, according to reports, there were some dissenting voices hesitant to endorse Vice President Shettima as they continued running mate of President Bola Tinubu. This objection led to a rowdy session during the meeting. As an integral part of the Renewed Hope agenda, who is also from the Northeast, is the position of Vice President Kashim Shettima in question. Well, joining me tonight from Abuja studio is an APC chieftain, Abu Andrew Abu. Good evening, Mr. Abu, and welcome to Politics Tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
So I'm sure that you've been following developments in the Northeast. I mean, ahead of the election, it's 2 years away, but we see that activity is already kicking up for that election. But if you follow the events in Gombe State, what's your assessment and your reaction to what happened there?
Okay, so thank you for having me. First of all, I just want to condole with the people of Benue State for the crisis that has been going on for ages there and the difficulties and pains they've been going through. I send my love and, good condolences to the people of Benue, So back to your question. Currently, there have been a gale of, endorsements across the geopolitical zones, and the last one that we saw was in the Northeast. Now, what do I think about this endorsement that is going on across, the political, the APC, from the National Assembly to, the zones? Do I think that 2 years is enough for us to start endorsing a president that has 2 years to carry on? The answer for me is a no. I just think it's needless. But of course, the party, I don't know in what wisdom that the APC-led Ganduje National NWC have decided to carry on with this endorsement of Mr. President. As far as we are concerned, right now, there are a whole lot of things that we can do as a party, to promote the policies of the government, and I don't see a reason why we should be talking about endorsing a president that has got 2 more years, to the end of his tenure. It just goes to show that there is a panic or something happening that we, the party members, are not aware of, So it comes in the guise of summit. Now, summit, for what a lot of us understand, is you come up as a party, discuss the policy of the government, and tell the people, where the government is going with the policy, and at least just be in sync with, the government, and, find a way to communicate better with the people at the grassroots. But that is not what we are seeing happening, and that is why, you see, that has created a problem, within the party, as you can see from what happened in the Northeast, where people were angry that there is an endorsement of the president without the vice president, Now, I don't know from any angle if there is a problem between the president or the vice. So it is really awkward that we see this endorsement happening and there is a silence on the part of the vice president.
If I may come in, you've mentioned as it were, the wave and gale of endorsement for the president. We've seen, of course, National Assembly members. We've seen governors who are not even member of the APC. We've seen APC governors. But, I mean, this is the first time, I suppose, that we're seeing a zone in the country hold, a summit like that to endorse the president. It would seem as though that summit was put together for the endorsement to show support, perhaps maybe even for the vice president, and the omission of that name perhaps led to what we saw. Do you also get that sense?
So it brings me back to what I was just saying. I mean, it's completely and totally needless at this time where Nigerians are are going through a whole lot of pain from this policy that we, as party members, believe is going to yield, good fruits in the coming future. So for me, I don't see any reason why, at this critical time, of this country, that all what the party should be concentrating their energy on is to keep endorsing the president. I don't know what is behind this endorsement. The fact remains that nobody is in contention with the president in the APC. I think what we need to do as a party is to speak to the issues on ground, and let us see how we can communicate better with the people that will be going back in the next 2 years to ask for their votes. Okay, so for me, I totally don't understand, and I can't see any reason why right now what we should be concentrating our energy on as a party should be endorsement of the president. We love the president, we love the party, but we must do things that does not affect the sensibility of Nigerians, which is what a lot of us are saying at this time. Now, you see, this endorsement that has happened has even created, from every indication, it has even created more problems for the party than it is supposed to solve. That is to show you that regardless of whatever the NWC led by Dr. Ganduje is thinking or saying, the people within the party and Nigerians generally are not happy with what is happening currently. And we need to speak to those issues. We need to let the people know that, look, this is where this renewed hope agenda is heading. This is what the government is putting in place to ameliorate, the hardship of the people. But I don't see that happening. And we need to, first of all, even sit down as a party to even see the issues that we have that is within the party. Because if I sit down here and I say there are no issues within the rank and file of the APC, I'll be telling a big fat lie. There are issues. A lot of people are just silent and just folding their arms and just watching for when they will take an opportunity, to express their dissatisfaction. So if you see all around the APC, there's a disquiet. And I'm wondering why the party leadership is not bothered about what is happening at the moment. What they are concentrating their energy on is to endorse a president that is not in contention. I mean, we have 2 more years to go. We have a lot of time to ensure that Nigerians see the dividends of these policies that is biting hard, and hitting the people very hard. So I think at this point, they need to take a sit back and, see how we can come together with this government and, communicate the policy of the government and let Nigerians, see the reasons why they even need to vote us back for the second term that everybody is working towards.
Is it also possible that perhaps the leadership of the party see the calmness as a good sign? And then I also want to ask you, some believe that what happened in Gombe State is a reflection of cracks within the APC in the Northeast. Do you also share that belief?
So I missed your question at some point.
The first question I asked you 2 questions in one. The first one was, do you think that the leadership, for example, are misinterpreting the quietness in the party as a sign of unity? And then some also believe that what happened in Gombe State is a reflection of, or an indication of, cracks within the APC in the Northeast.
So clearly it is evident in what happened in Gombe that there is a problem. And you see, what the leadership, I don't know if they are deliberately ignoring or just feeling that they can wish it away. There are issues. First of all, so we can see the reflection of what happened in Southeast. Now, let me also tell you that in the North Central, where a lot of people from the North Central feels shortchanged because the National Party leadership, National Party chairmanship was originally zoned to the North Central, where it was further micro-zoned to Nasarawa State. Now, it was taken from the North Central to the Northwest, where Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje comes from. Now, the truth is, people might not be saying anything, but a lot of people are really angry. So there are a lot of issues hanging in the air that the party is yet to address. You know, as a matter of fact, if you sit down with 10 card-carrying members of APC members, you will be shocked that you'll be shocked at what 9 out of the 10 will be saying about, you know, the government and the party. And you see, right now, we need to sit down and see where there are gray areas and start dealing with them. Otherwise, we'll be shocked at when this party is going to implode, you know, from the numerous activities that is building up, you know, going into 2027.
Do you perhaps have an understanding why some members of the party are aggrieved?
There are a litany of issues, okay? So, a lot of people does not feel that there are activities in the party as we used to have, you know, in the last 8 years, you know, that brings together everybody, and that also for people that put in a whole lot in this renewed hope agenda activities to the build-up of the 2023 elections, a lot of people are even nowhere near the government to drive home this policy. So there are just so many issues. You have states where there are caretaker chairmen that have been, you know, put in place. You know, so there are just different issues that needs to be dealt with before we even start talking about endorsements. Because if you look, except people forget history easily, in 2015, 22 governors endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan. But what happened? APC, against what a lot of people thought could ever happen in Nigeria, won that election clear. And we are saying that as party members, we don't want a repeat of what happened in 2015 to happen to us in 2023. You know, we are stakeholders in this party. A lot of times, the people at the leadership level really does not even have anything to lose. But we, as young politicians and people that really want and believe in the APC as a party, we want this party to do things in the progressive manner that we have always supported, and the reason why a lot of us have found ourselves in the APC as a party. Until we come back to that philosophy of the party that has brought a lot of us that believes in this party together to start dealing with the issues that is looking like we have deviated completely from what the APC stands for, we will continue to be in this conundrum. And the earlier we start, the earlier the NWC, the leadership of the NWC, and the earlier the government at the helms of affairs of Nigeria starts sitting down with the people in the party, the better for all of us. So that the tsunami and the whirlwind that is blowing will not consume the APC.
Well, some would say in terms of support, the president is in a good place. Let's not forget that whilst President Jonathan had 22 governors, that was the PDP at the time, 5 of them had, you know, moved to the APC when that party was created. And so the rank of the president at that time, Goodluck Jonathan, was greatly depleted. And so it was in the favor of the APC. But reverse is the case at this moment. You have the opposition party governors coming into the APC. And perhaps that solidifies the position of the president.
Now you see, from history and with the way our politics is evolving, the fact that governors are moving into the APC, it is not automatically a win for the APC. As a matter of fact, for me, it is even going to create more problems, because governors move into the APC. What happens? The APC members in opposition in those respective states are relegated to the background. Are they happy? They are not happy. These are people that have been in the party from inception. How do you expect them to take the fact that all of a sudden they are going to be relegated to the background because new sets of people have come into the party? Of course, we want people to join our party. Our party, from every indication, is a party that people admire, you know, and wants to be a part of, because of how well we have organized from even the time of when we're in opposition and now that we are in government. You know, and I tell people that up until this moment, the opposition, the biggest threat of opposition to the APC is the APC itself. And until we start dealing with this issue, we are going to find ourselves in a place where people will be shocked at what will happen. And you see, in politics, 24 hours is a long time. You know, so I really don't understand why the party and the government is not seeing the urgency in addressing these issues. You know, so my advice is that there should be a stakeholder meeting that will address all these things. Now, what happened in the Northeast? There was endorsement, and the endorsement of the president was silent. The people that endorsed the president were silent about the vice president. Now, people, don't forget that the vice president comes from the Northeast, Borno State to be precise. A lot of people from the Northeast were angered by the fact that it is a ticket. I mean, we've had in the 8 years of Buhari and Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the ticket and the endorsement was for the two of them. For each time we had our campaigns and we spoke about, you know, the president then. So I don't know what is different with this. I don't know what the plan is. I know that there is nowhere the government has put out a statement, or the party has put out a statement that there's going to be a change in the vice presidential candidacy. But you see, all this is happening because a needless endorsement that we don't need at this critical time, where Nigerians are going through difficult times with economy and a whole lot of things that stems from hardship and poverty, for us to be talking about endorsing our presidential candidate. We support the president. We want him to succeed. We love our party, but we must get it right. And getting it right is not, as far as I'm concerned, it is just a fanfare that we are going about these endorsements, you know, that is happening all over the country. Let us sit down and address issues of governance, crisis in our party, and see how we can come together and have a clean sweep in 2027, you know. But you see, at the end of the day, the people of Nigeria are the ones to determine whatever that is going to happen. And we need to work assiduously to ensure that we give them the good of governance and democracy.
What would you say then about people like Senator Ali Ndume and others who are members of the APC, but are publicly antagonistic to the Tinubu administration and its policies? Isn't perhaps why the APC or some zones would decide that, look, against the backdrop of what these persons are doing, let's show that we support the president?
So in as much as I would not want to use the word antagonistic against the president, I think that there are people that have different views about the governance of the APC at the center. And I think whatever they are saying and whatever views they hold that might not sit well with the government, I think the government and the party needs to sit down and look at takeaways from these views. You know, so yes, I understand that these are people that can have access to the president, and you can, you know, have a sit down and have a roundtable dialogue with the president, and, you know, marshal out the places where you need, where you feel that there needs to be improvement. Unfortunately, we have a party that doesn't seem like it's carrying along everybody. So people does not even know where to vent, you know. So people are just all over the place, venting and just making statements because there is no coordination in the party. The National Party chairman needs to sit up, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what the plan is for him, but we know we're gradually sliding into an implosion state for the APC. People can sit down and think that everything is okay. It will just be a first-hand deceit for everybody that thinks that all is well. We need to sit down and start addressing these issues. There will always be issues in political parties, yes, but you see, there are avoidable issues, and we need to quickly start addressing these issues so that we can now, at the last phase of, you know, the next 1 year, talk about how, you know, we can go back to Nigerians, campaign, and, you know, get their votes and come back and run the rest of you know, the second tenure of Mr. President. But for now, let's focus on governance and leave this endorsements that is going on. It's beginning to look like psychophancy.
You mentioned, because some of these individuals, you're right, they have access to either the president, the vice president, or the national chairman. Why not take advantage of the relationship instead of going on national platforms to deride the candidate or the presidential, the president of your own, not just Nigeria, but you know, he also is a pride for any party to say, oh, that's our president.
So sometimes it breaks, you know, but let me just try to answer the question. So as it stands today, I don't think there is any crisis between the president and the vice president. The president and the vice president are a great team, and we love the two of them, you know, and we all went out fully to campaign for them and to ensure that they won the 2023 elections. Now, I don't know where this issue is coming from, but trust me, it will create more crack if some people are trying to see how they want to convince the president to choose a new candidate. For me, I don't think that is what the problem of the party is at the moment. You know, let us concentrate on governance and see how we can drill down the policies of this government, you know, to the common man on the street of Nigeria. Because as far as people are concerned, a lot of people are asking, what have we done in the last 10 years that the APC have been in power for us to even deserve a second term? But we are saying, yes, we met issues on ground and we're dealing with those issues. Are Nigerians satisfied with the way and the speed in which we are dealing with these issues? I think, for me, there is work to be done. Now, all we need to do is to sit down and start aggregating the policies of this government and ensure that all the people responsible in every strata of the government are held accountable on their jobs. A lot of ministers are yet to be seen for us to even know what they are doing. You know, there is a lot of things happening at the moment that needs urgent attention. Now, is the government trying to, you know, solve these things? Yes, but Nigerians are very impatient, and I think right now is for us to sit down and see how we can start addressing the issues that are bordering on the average Nigerian. Until we do that, I don't think it will be right for us to start endorsing the president for a second term. Except we want to keep deceiving ourselves, and we want to tell the Nigerian people that they don't matter.
You talked about members of the party, some members of the party not having a sense of belonging in the party because of activities that used to happen that no longer do. What are some of those activities that used to bring people together that is, I mean, probably in the past 2-3 years has not been organized?
So I can't remember when last this party held a NEC meeting to come up with, you know, activities and to reassure party members on what they want to do. I can't remember when last any zonal leadership in the party held a zonal meeting, you know, to sit down with members, at least to tell them, give them sense of belonging and to tell them, you know, where the party is heading to, you know, and it just goes down to the world, from the national level to the world. It just seems as if nothing is happening. We see the national party chairman almost everywhere welcoming the president and, you know, moving with him to every part of the country. For us, I don't think that is what we need right now. There needs to be a reorganization of this party.
All right.
And it is the right time to start solving the issues that people feel can be solved, so that we don't think that all is well and we'll get the shocker when the time comes.